goes down like that. Just go on the phone. Test 1 2 3 4. We are live on YouTube. Test 1 2 3 4. We are live on YouTube. All right. We are live. Test 1 2 3 4. We are live on YouTube. All right. We are live. Test 1 2 3. We're getting an echo going on here. All right. Close that. And it looks like we are good to go. Live. Awesome. Good to go. Hey everybody, it's Bart from Bart's Workshop. First time on YouTube live stream, so this is my debut on the live service, at least for YouTube. So today we're going to be building the TRX-4 chassis kit. So that's the kit I'm going to be building today. So I already pulled all the parts out of the bags, or out of the box, put it on the table, laid it all out. I got all my tools, I got some water, I got some snacks, I got some batteries for the remote. So we'll see how far we get to today. I got about 3 hours of streaming time till about 3 p.m. Then I have to head out to the hobby shop, get some more parts, and possibly another truck. We'll see how that goes. But till then, I got about 3 hours to build, so we'll see how far we get. If you guys have any questions or comments or anything, throw it into the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them the best I can. So let's just, I'm just going to go back to my live box here so I can see what's going on. There you go. Okay, so first of all, when I do building, or sorry, when I build trucks, the kits, the first thing I always do is I take an older towel and I always put it on the desk. The reason why is a towel on the desk, because it's fabric. If you have any screws, any ball bearings, any washers, parts, things like that, if they fall, they're not going to roll off the table. If you have a loose table, if it's kind of like a flat surface, if you throw a bearing or anything like a screw, any small parts, they're going to hit that surface and they're going to roll off. They're going to fall on the ground and you're searching for it. On a surface like this where it's anything that falls on it, it's not going to roll off as easily, so you'll be able to catch those parts, or if they roll off, you'll be easier for you to easier to see it, because they're going to get stuck somewhere on an actual towel. So I always like to use just an older towel, put it on the desk I'm building, everything's in there. If there's any grease or oil or whatnot, if I'm building shocks and things like that, if that does spill, technically it goes on the towel, so I'm not worried about damaging the surface of my desk. And it's just easier to clean up. Then I just throw the towel on the washer, wash it up, and it's ready for the next build. So that's how I do my builds. So that's the first thing I do. I laid out my old towel. I take the parts for the kit, all the bags, lay them out on the table so I have everything ready. I got my remote in the corner here. I got some batteries. I got my LiPo battery here for testing, zeroing out the servos. I got my receiver batteries here. So I got everything ready to go for the build. So I'm not scrambling looking for parts while I'm doing the build. I like to be sitting down and building all my building my truck while I have everything laid out. I got all my screwdrivers. Everything is on the actual table. I got some pliers, some cutters, things like that. For any small parts, bearings, boxes, or bearings, screws, and things like that, I like to have a few little containers, whatever they are, couple of boxes, and just put my actual parts into that. It's just easier, if I have small things, put it into that. And I know, like I said, they're not going to roll off. To kind of keep parts separated, sometimes you might need to have a separate few pieces open. So I'll have a few boxes just to kind of lay them out so they're not kind of all over the place, right? So that's kind of what I do. And I mean, besides that, that's pretty much it. Make sure you got good lighting in the room when you're building it. It's not dark. Preferably, I like to do my builds either mid-afternoon or sometime in the middle of the day or so. I don't prefer to do my builds at the end of the day because I'm kind of tired from the day. My eyes are tired, so I might not be looking at things correctly. But usually on the weekend, have some free time, and I got lots of time. I'm not really stream for time, except for today, like I say, because I do need to go to the hobby shop for some extra parts for this. I want to get the LED kit for the TRX-4. So I'll have to head down there later on. But anyway, so that's basically how I do my actual setup of building kits. Make sure everything's ready. It's all, it's all laid out. I don't have to look for any parts and things like that. So, but anyway, so let's get started. So this is again, it's a TRX kit. So that's basically, let me just bring up the box. So this is this kit over here, as you guys can see. It's got all, I did an unboxing video. If you check out my blog or my YouTube channel, Bart's Workshop, just search for that. You'll find it on YouTube and things like that. So this has all the features of the regular TRX-4 Defender package, I guess, except this is the kit. So you get to build it and kind of learn the inside and outs of the actual kit itself. One of the things I do enjoy, why I do enjoy building the kits, is because I get to learn the truck, learn inside out where things are. So if something does break, I know how to fix it, or I know if something did break, where it broke, or possibly if something is not working properly as it should be, where the issue could be, right? So I already know what I'm looking for. So anyway, so that's the box. But anyway, so enough talking. Let's get to the build, and we'll go from there. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, let's throw it into the chat box. Tabletop Gamer, thank you for joining the stream, and then we'll go from there. I love building kits. What can I say? So let's get started. Okay, so let's pop open a page. First page, cracking the page. So items you'll need. So we got the Traxxas Premium Glue. I can do that later. I got 4 AA batteries here. I got the LiPo battery. Battery charger. The battery's already charged, so I'm good for that. Safety glasses, I'm okay for that for now. Needle nose pliers, I got them here. Metrics hex drivers. I think it's a 2 or 1.5, 2.5, and 2.0 whatnot. So I got these here. So I got my screwdrivers all ready to go. I do have a Phillips head. I'm not sure if this kit uses them, and I got a flat screwdriver, smaller one. So I think I got all the tools covered. I got my hobby knife here. It's one of those ones where you can actually recess, so technically it's safety first, right? Make sure that's all good. And then kits for the win. Awesome. And I think that's it. Side cutters, hobby knife. Yeah, I got pretty much all the parts. So in this kit, it just covers all the bearings, what size of the bearings are, things like that, all the screws. Like I say, I've built kits before, so this is nothing new to me, but this is where it all starts, the first page. So let's get into that. So first page, we're looking at the transmission bag. So on the Traxxas kit, they do let you know which bag you're going to use when you're building the parts. So things are kind of separated into their own compartments, so you're not looking for screws amongst all the little bags and kits. So it makes it easier because you're not, trying to guess which parts fit where. So let's open up this bag and get going here. Okay, and then I believe I have a garbage can here. I'm just going to put all the junk in there. Alright, so we got a bunch of screws. Again, like I said, I got little boxes, so basically now what I can do is open these up. Oh, see, things are flying already. Gotta make sure they're all... And I have everything laid out in my little boxes, right? You can see there. Or all for the win. 1 second here, I'm just gonna adjust my window here a little bit. That way we can see. There you go. That's better. Okay, so I got my screws here. This looks like the transmission parts here, all the plastics. You got my bearings here. Okay, I'm just gonna open these up. Look at all them parts. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, like I said, maybe what I'll do is I'll put these over here for now. All the shafts. Let's throw those in there. Check all the baggies, make sure there's no parts left over. I got the bearings. Just gonna move all those screws over there. Hold the bearings into here. And then we got some gears. Okay, there you go. Okay, so again, like I say, the fact that I have these little boxes, all my parts in there, it's easier for me to find it. None are going to roll off the desk and whatnot, right? Okay, so first, we're looking for this part here. We can see, you guys can see there, and oh, 3 little dots and pop-out chart. Let's see here. Well, that helps out. Okay, well, that's even better. Like I said, this is my first time on live stream on YouTube, so this is kind of like a debut slash testing session to see how that will work. But I think so far it's working pretty well. Alright, so what do we got here? So we got this part here. So we want to make sure we're doing the right parts. We kind of match them up first, make sure they're proper, right? So that will be that part there. So we got a couple bearings we need to throw in there. Okay, so here's the bearings. Okay, push them in, make sure they're all the way in. And as you see here on the instruction booklet, make sure the bearings are in all the way. They're not crooked, they're not sitting out, so push them in nicely. Okay, that one's done. And then we have this part here. Where's this part? I think that would be this. Yep, that's it. Okay, so that one. So we're going to put bearings into this one. 2 more bearings. And they're right at the bottom there. Kind of hidden into the actual kit there. Push those ones in. Maybe what I'll do, let me just bring this a little bit lower here. There you go. That way you can see. Just make this straight so you can see. Yeah, I think that's better. There you go. Now it's a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing here. Actually, let me just flip on this light. There you go. It's a little bit better. Might be a little bit of glare, but I think this will be better because it'll be a bit more lit up. Alright, tabletop gamer, we'll see you soon. Okay, so just make sure you push those in. Those are pushed in. And then we flip this thing around and we put the bearing on this side here. This is a pretty fun thing to do, I tell you. I love building kits. Okay, so we got the 2 bearings in here, that's covered. And then this one here, I got the 2 bearings pushed in on this side. And they're pushed in all the way. Flip this around and we got a bearing on this side here. Okay. Next, we got the shaft here. Which one is it? That would be this one. Right, we got that shaft there. Let's move this a little bit over. Let's put these parts over here. We'll go more into the center. Okay, so we got the shaft here. And then we're looking for 18 tooth gear, which looks, I believe, that one. And then we have this gear here. I believe that would be this one. Okay, so now we need 2 little pins. Okay. one's in. That one's in there as well. Alright. Now I'm going to wait for the other part to put the grease on because I don't want to get my hands greasy right now. Okay, so I'm just going to put this on the side here. See, the fact that it's on the towel, like I said, it's not going to roll, right? So that part's good. Now we need the other shaft, which I believe is this one. And then there's a metal part, which I believe is this. I guess it doesn't really matter which side this is. No, there's a piece here. Okay, that fits on here. And then on this side we have a gear. So we're looking at... Oh, sorry, I missed one part here. Okay, so we need this part. Gear. What am I missing here? 32 gear. That one. So there's another gear here. That's the same one? No, that's a different one. Where is... I'm missing a gear in here. Or is it this one? I got this one, which has a little bearing in it. Okay. And then there's another gear. Oh, this one. Okay, so that one fits into there. And then there's a bearing that fits into this one. And this is the one that has the issue in it. Okay, so from the streams that I've seen, there's a gear in here that is supposed to fit a bearing, and the bearing doesn't fit into here. So this kit I bought about a week ago. It's in June, and I see that Traxxas still hasn't fixed this issue, unless this is a kit that's been on the shelves for a bit. But this particular kit, there's a bearing. It's a 5x10x4, and guess what? This bearing does not fit into here. You can see. Let me bring this closer to the camera. That does not fit in there. Does not fit in there. Unless, let's see, maybe there's another bearing that fits in here. Oh, hold on. Maybe that's the one. Oh, no. Sorry. My wrong. It's okay. So this is an updated kit then. Sorry. My bad. I know people had issues with this, but this is the right one. So, sorry. My bad. Sorry. Traxxas did fix this part. They did have an issue with this gear and the bearing on this part here where the bearing did not fit, but on this kit it is fixed. So my apologies. I'm good. This bearing just a tiny little bit smaller, so that'll fit in here. Okay, so we got the bearing, we got the gear, this gear, another bearing, so that's good. Okay, I'm gonna put that over here, and then we have a big gear with two little bearings in it. Okay, should push those in. Okay, those are good. Okay, then we have this part here. Facing little holes. Okay, so this one would fit right over here. Okay, and then this gear fits on this side. And the only question here... Okay, there you go. So this would be the shifting, I think, from low gear to high gear. Locks it in this gear, and then this will lock it in this gear. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so grease goes on here, and grease goes on these parts here. Okay, so we're going to put that in a second. Let's go to turn page 4, or the next page, I guess, page 6. So we got these two gears, which is right here. Okay, you got the 2 pins. I got this gear figured out, so that works fine. Got this gear with 2 bearings on the inside and outside. Got the plastic piece on the shaft. These 2 go in here, and then they should put a little bit of grease on here. Okay, so now we need a little plastic piece, which is this. And that goes on here. Okay, and then we got 2 washers. So little plastic washers. Or metal washers, I guess. PTF washer. That'd be those ones. No, that's not the ones. Oh, this one's. Different sizes on here. Okay, and then one on this side. Okay, so we got washer 1, washer 2. I got this collar thing. And then everything assembles together. Okay, so let's see how this is gonna go. So maybe we'll put it on here first. Where does that little piece go? Here? I guess, nope, it goes through here. Okay, so okay, there you go. So that's all good. Okay, I just want to double check, make sure. I got the little washer on there. Yeah, I got the washer. That fits there, and then this gear piece slides into here. Come on. Work with me, Johnny. Okay. Where's this washer here? Okay, so that's sitting there. Okay, and now we need the other gear, which is this one here. And that would be the smaller one. Okay, so at this point, I can put some grease on here. Grease, I guess, would be here somewhere in the bag. Here it is. So this grease, you just unscrew it, and then there's a little pointy tip on this side of the actual top there, right? And you just push it in. That breaks the grease, and now you can squeeze it out. Once you're done, put a cap on it. Okay, so we're going to put this into there. So we're going to put some grease on this guy here. Get a couple spots. Oh. That's why I waited to put the grease on last, because little parts do pop out and stuff, so that way we can get those ones first. Let's just maybe a little bit more grease on here. Alright. Let's close this. For now. And then this has to have the little pin on it. Let's push the pin through here. I'll just rotate that the right way. Okay, and now we can insert this into here. Come on, little pin. Okay, there you go. So we got that in there. And we got the grease. Grease all good. I think I'm gonna put a little bit more grease on this wheel here. The other one's fine. Alright, so I got this part. That fits into there. So now this piece will go into here. Bearings go there. I got the washer on here. Make sure I can close this. Alright. That is closed up. Now, screws. I got a couple screws I got to put in here, which is fitting on this side here. Okay, so I got these screws here. 5 of those screws, which are over here. Come on. Why is that not going in? Oh, there you go. I'm actually going to bring this camera in a little bit more. There you go. Okay. I always like to get all the screws in first, and then I can tighten them up. Don't tighten them up too much. I was thinking of getting like a power screwdriver for this, but you know what? I think the part of doing it by hand is better because you can judge where the limit of the screw is on the plastic, so that way you don't over tighten it. Okay, so I'm going to turn this, make sure this is smooth, it doesn't bind. Okay, so, and then we have 2 more screws on the other side here, which is here and here. So I got these 3 here and then these 2 here. We'll see how my arm feels at the end of the build. Be like, oh, maybe next time I build something, I'll get a power screwdriver. Maybe some of the parts you can use a power screwdriver, but some of them I think by hand might be better. Okay, let's put together again. Spin your transmission, differentials, whatever you have, to make sure it doesn't bind. So if I spin it now, I can see it's pretty clear. It moves, doesn't bind or anything, right? So that's done. Okay, so now I have this piece here. which I gotta put 2 more bearings in here. Okay, and then this one here has 3 bearings. I'm really happy that this is the kit, that it has been updated from Traxxas to fix that issue of the bearing that doesn't fit in there, or that used to not fit in there, so that's good. Traxxas, thank you very much. Makes the whole experience much more fun. Alright, so now I have another little pin in here. So I have a little grease pin. Okay, so small parts like that might be easier to do with little pliers. Okay, so that's in there. And there's a little gear in here, which is that one there. Okay, so that would be this part. And then we have a little shaft, which is this one or this one. It would be the short one or long one? Long output shaft assembly, short output. Okay, so there's 2 of them. So there's a long shaft. So I was wondering which one it was, because you have 2 shafts here. You can see different lengths. So we got a long one and a short one. Okay, so each one has a... That makes sense. Okay, so let's grab one of these little pins. Put the gear through it. There you go. Stick that there. And here's the short one. Okay. Short and long. And then there's also a... Okay, so this one... Oh, sorry. So this one comes from this side. Like this. Okay. So these guys also have these little washers. Okay. Washers. Okay, let's do maybe 1. Okay, and then short one I guess will fit on this side. Right, and then there'll be the long one. So on the long one I'll put the grease on that one. Nope, sorry. It will be this way, so the pin through here and a washer. Okay, so this, now this will fit into there. So before I put that into there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some grease on it. Since I didn't put grease on the other parts, I put a little bit more on this one, and then it's going to transfer to the other ones while I spin it. And it's got the washer on it. So make sure everything's all nicely tucked in. And again, spin your transmission, make sure it moves smoothly, so you're not having any binding or anything like that, right? That's good. Okay, so we got the 3 bearings, 2 bearings there. Then we got this, got the 2 pins, long shaft, short shaft. Okay, well there goes the cap. So now we put on this cap on here. And there's no washers or anything. Nope, that's it. Everything just fits in there. And that goes on there. And again, we have 3 screws in here. And my screwdriver. Like I said, I like to get all my screws in and guided in first, about 3/4 way in, and then I'll do the next one, and then I'll go button them all up. Okay. Okay, so I see that might be a little bit too tight. Let's loosen them off. As soon as they put that on there, things got a little bit tight. Okay. There you go. Yeah, make sure it's smooth. It moves. So all spins, you can see. Okay. Now, okay, so we got this part built. I guess it'll be like this. Now we have this part. Just give me the slipper assembly. Okay, then we have this gear here. We have the slipper pads. So you gotta put the slipper pads on the gear. Okay, so slipper pad goes on there, and then we have another metal piece for the slipper. Okay, then we have so we got, now there's a difference of these washers because they go in and out, and they're kind of angled one way and the other way. So just do that so that looks correct. And then this one and this one. This is kind of like a spring in a way. And then we have a metal washer in here. And then we have our nut. Lock nut, actually. Okay, so now I need the hex wrench, which is inside here, right? And hex wrench, you're up. Okay, and then there's a gear here. Okay, so you have the wrench on this side. To tighten the slipper nut, insert a 2mm hex wrench into the whole end of the input shaft. Okay, so I guess it'd be this one. Let's see. interesting because they don't see into the hole of the input shaft. They don't really. I understand what they're trying to say here, but they don't really. For somebody who doesn't know what's going on, they don't make it easy, do they? So I guess there's two places you can put it, here or here. If you put it here, would that fit? Okay, so maybe I could try this one. So I can lock. I guess you can lock it this way. So there's a shaft here at the end. You can see there. So what you need to do is put there's a hole there on the input shaft. You put your Allen wrench in there, and this locks it. So now if I try to turn it, it's basically, whoops, locked. It won't turn. So now I can, now the fact that you got the Allen wrench in there, then I can go like this, and I can actually tighten it up. So you tighten it up all the way. And then 1/16 turn, 22 degrees. Dislocks the shaft, then put a turn the adjustment nut until all 4 spring washers are flat. Then tighten the nut an additional 1/16 or until the slipper clutch does not allow the spur gear to slip during optimal performance. So make sure it's not loose, it's tightened up. Instructions. Okay, so turn the adjustment nut until the 4 spring washers are flat. Then tighten an additional 1/16 turn or until the slipper clutch does not allow the spur gear clutch. 1/16. So just unscrew this. Okay, so washers are becoming flat. Okay, so they're flat now. About 1/16 of a turn. There you go. Okay, there you go. Done. So just like this, transmission is rolling. So again, to move your transmission, make sure it's smooth. Right? Let me just see if I can just tighten up these just a little bit more. That's tight. That's tight. That's tight. Okay, whoa, getting into the servo part. Awesome, okay. So, we need one of our servos. And I believe on the receiver part, these are all the same. They're all 2065 waterproof servo, 2065. So these are all the same, except one of them is angled a different way. Safe, not safe. Okay, so at this point, I think I will have to turn on the receiver to make sure I zero out the servo. Servo horn is pre-installed and factory centered. Do not turn servo shaft until by hand. Okay, so it is centered. So that's not correct, because if it's here, it shows on the picture that it's at the top of the servo. So if I put the servo like this with the wire hanging out, this is not correct. If I take this servo, which is another one, this one is not centered, it's technically moved. Oh, okay, so these even have rear T-lock servo, front T-lock servo, TRX shift servo. Okay, so that'll be the shift servo. I don't think they really matter because they're the same ones, but I guess they kind of set them up that way. But I don't know if this is centered, because that's... Let's see. I'm going to test it. I want to make sure. So, let's fire up the radio. So, radio takes 4 AA batteries, right? Okay, and then there's a switch here at the end. Flip the switch, you got a green light. Okay, and then we're gonna need a receiver, and I guess one of the servos, so I can plug in the servo first. This would be channel 1, 2, channel 3, I guess. 1, 2, 3. Let's plug it into 3, see if that's the correct one. Okay, we got our battery. I guess we're gonna need our speed controller. And plug that into here. Now let me just see here. What channel is the... See, I like to make sure that the servo is centered because I don't... Looking at their picture, it doesn't look like it is. It might be wrong, but you know what? I would like to check because then I want to take it apart again if I don't have to. Okay, steering shift servos, channel 3. I was correct. 1, 2, 3. T-lock servo. Electronic speed controllers, channel 2. Channel 2. Okay, 2, and this is going to be 3. Okay, let's plug in the battery. Oh, I need an adapter for the battery. Actually, what here? Use one of these batteries, one of my other Traxxas batteries. Plug that into here. Okay. Alright, let's see if this will work. Alright, so that's down. So looks like that was centered. Well, centered actually. Servo horn is pre-installed and factory centered. Do not turn the servo shaft by hand or you could damage the servo. Centered as in is okay, slight rock, come back. Do not turn the servo shaft by hand or you could damage the servo. So I wouldn't, by centered they mean it's shifted already to one position or the other. So you can see here the servo is moving. So technically when the servo centered means it's technically right between both places, but in this case I guess the transmission's either shifted in high or low. I guess in this case it doesn't really matter because as long as it's in the high or low position it'll get adjusted by the linkage. So okay, so that's fine. Okay, so I think hold the button and it turns off. And just unplug the battery. Unplug the battery for now. Okay, so that would be... Okay, so I tested it just to make sure, so that's good. Flip this guy off. Alright, so I have to put this together on here. And I guess this would be these two screws. So far I've been using the, I think it's a 2mm, 2.5, 1.5, yeah, the 2mm. So the 2mm screwdriver you definitely use the most. Or hex wrench, whatever you want to call it. Okay, just don't over tighten these screws. Okay, and then this goes on the transmission. Transmission this way, so this fits this way. Yes, fits like that. Okay, but before I do that, I gotta snap this onto here. Okay, and then I guess put this into the little transmission shaft linkage here. And that would be like that. Now I could put my screws for my servo mount. Now for the 2-speed transmission, I heard some opinions online where they say that if you get a brushless motor system, you don't really need it. I haven't worked on a a crawler before of a brushless system, so I don't know how that works. So for me, I want to try out how the 2-speed works, and in the future, if I upgrade my truck to a brushless system, then I'll see if what is the difference between the two, because I want to have something to compare. If you're going to talk about something where there's something is good or not, you gotta you have to actually lived it, done it, then you can say that you've done one and the other, right? Okay, so there you go. So that's how that's set up. And that's just a wrench. And we got empty parts box, which means transmission completed. Basically, that's how it looks. So we got our servo. Linkage is up here. We got all our stuff. We got our slipper clutch on the other side. So that is done. The first part. Awesome. Look at that. It's built. That's the transmission. That's what you're supposed to be left with, right? And again, this is the shift servo. Sorry for the unfocus there. Shift servo. Come on, camera. Focus in on that. Shift servo. So it makes it. So let's see here. This would be shafts. Okay, so it's these guys here. They're going. Okay, interesting. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, well, there you go. So that's that. Now we're on to differential assembly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this on the side here. And now we're working on differential assembly, differential bag. So now we're looking for the differential bag. Rear axle, front axle. I guess to be differential, but does it matter if it's front or back? I guess doesn't really matter. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for here. Differential bag. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, the axle, the differentials. Yeah, the differentials. Okay, so let's get into the next part. So I'm just gonna throw these little sticker parts off. Don't need that no more. Crack the next bag open. Always make sure there's no parts flying in there. Let's bust these open. It's really cool to have a little box for all the parts, because it's gonna stay there. All the bearings. These are pretty funky bearings. They're very, very big bearings. Okay, got all the parts. Okay, so we have the differential cases. Oh, these are small. Wow, these are small differential cases. I used to have a Savage 21 and 25, and then the Flux. And then the differential cases in those trucks are huge, so this is not that big actually. Okay, so first part. You're going to put the differential output gear through there, which is going to be these guys. I'm surprised there's no bearing on here. Usually there's a bearing on the outside here, but I guess there's no bearing on here. I guess it just spins on there normally. Oh, I guess when this is locked, then it doesn't really matter, but I'm surprised because you figured that they would have something on here. Guess that's all it is. Okay, and then you have spider gears. Oh, these are tiny. Oh my gosh, these are so small. So small. Oops. It's actually going inside. Make sure when you're putting in the gears are going to the inside here. Okay. And then we need another one. Another shaft. Okay. So you can see it turning there. Come on, camera, focus. There you go. You can see it's turning there. There you go. So that's that. Then you put a little bit of grease. Actually a lot. Apply a large drop of grease between the spider gears. Okay. And then you got the ring gear. Apply grease on there. Okay, so I'm just going to put this over here for now. I guess I can build 2 of them. Times 2. Yes, that's correct. Okay, so let's do that step again. Yeah, these differentials are small. I mean small. I don't know how they are on the other crawlers because I can't remember when was the last time when I built my SCX-10 was a while ago, so don't remember how big it was, but it's definitely smaller than the HPA Savage diffs. There you go. Here's another one. Come on, focus. Come on, camera, focus. Anyways, so that's basically like that. So I have 2 of them built. And then, like I said, you got the ring gear. Apply a thin coat of grease on here, so we're going to have to put that there. Okay, and then the screws just apply. So that's all we got. It's just the ring gear, the output gear, a little bit of grease, and then 4 screws. Okay, so let's do this. Let's put some grease on here. Pop this through here. Right. I can put the other one as well. Oops. Okay, so I got those. And now I need to put a little bit of grease on here and then close it up. And that's it. Okay, so apply a large amount of grease. So let's put a good amount of grease on here. Okay, let's just spin this, make sure there's a lot of grease on these gears. It's funny because all the grease goes to the center. Let's just see if you can spread it around on all of these gears. I think that should be good enough for now. Okay, so now I could take this. I think there might be a special way to put that together. I'm just going to put this wrench on here. Okay, now applying this, make sure the holes go into those holes. And they look like they're all the same. Nothing looks different between the 2 of them. It just goes like that. And then they have screws. My guess, this is the smaller one. Yeah. So this is the 1.5 screwdriver. Oh, it's popping off. There you go. My transmission is being shifted. Come on, screw, work with me. Let's try it again. So this time I want to hold it really tight. Let's see if I can screw that in there. Okay. 2 more screws on each sides. Screw it all together. Come on. So this is using the 1.5 millimeter screwdriver or wrench. Prefer to use a screwdriver, it's a lot easier to tighten up the parts. Okay, let's see if this is going to turn. Okay, so it is turning. Let's make sure it doesn't bind or anything. Okay, let's put together the other one and see how it works on that one. Okay, so again we need grease. Let's get the screws in here. Oops. Okay, good. So one screw kind of button it together so it's not falling apart now. The first differential it fell apart a bit. Oh, it fell apart. I just have to put it back together a little bit. But this one's a lot better. A lot better. I like the little box idea here. It definitely is good because once you're working on the kit, you can see the parts start disappearing from your parts box. So you know you're getting closer and closer to finishing this particular part of the build. Alright, so what else we got here? So we got all that, we got this, screws, grease, button it up. Okay, that part's good. So now we're going to be working on this part here in a second. See how this one is? Yep, it's good. Doesn't bind, make sure you can turn it, right? So here's your differential, right? Come on, camera, focus. Come on. There you go. So here's your differential. Trying to focus on the bottom. Gotta see which one is. They're about the same. Just double check. Make sure I tighten up these screws. Yep. So you're not over tightening it, but make sure it's tight. Yep, good. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just clean this off. Get rid of grease from there. I don't need it. And I'm just gonna close this off so I don't get grease everywhere. As soon as I can find my cap. Where'd my cap go? See? My cap already disappeared. Oh, here it is. So here we go. Just gonna close this up just so it's cleaner. Okay, now a bearing that fits on the outside like this. And then there's a pin. Okay, so we got a bearing fits on here first. Okay, so here shows a pin and the bearing, but it's actually better to put the bearing on first. And then we got a pin through here. Right, so there's a pin rolling from there. I could actually maybe even bring this a little bit lower. There you go. Now you guys can see a little bit better, especially for the smaller parts. So the pin is here, and then we got the locker. Fits this way. There you go. And I guess there's a bearing here. Oh, sorry. This goes this way. Oh, come on. There you go. And then there's a bearing here, which is the smaller one. Boom, done. It's nice and smooth. Awesome. Okay, here's another one. So we got the bearing on the outside. We got the big bearing. Got the pin. Like that. Then we have the locker. And then the bearing. Done. Awesome. A little bit greasy there, but I think we're good. Completed differential assemblies. Awesome. Next page. Okay, now we're on to the rear axle bag. Rear axle bag. This is the rear axle bag. Awesome. This is the rear axle bag. You can see there. Glow, there you go. Rear axle bag. Screws. Got some plastic pieces here. Guess that'll be the portals. And we got a bunch of screws in here. this bag I'll put all these little gears. Alright, so put this a little bit later. Okay, first of all, so we got this, which is main part, and we got two bearings and a gear. Okay, so we got a bearing here, which is the one gonna fit into there, which looks like it's the bigger one. Okay, so that goes through here. You see, apply grease, but like I say, I'll put in the grease after. Just fits onto there. Okay, and then there's a smaller bearing on this side. Okay, again, it's smooth. Gear, bearing, good. Okay, now we have this little plastic clip, which I saw here somewhere. Here it is, the actual shifter, which I believe fits on here somewhere. We need this gear shifter, or to be the locker for the differential. Oh, careful. Right there, inside the same bag, there's a little C-clip here. Just FYI, don't lose that. Just gonna throw that in the bag here. Now, this is the shift linkage. Goes through here like this, and this just pops through there. Oh no, goes this way. Yeah, that looks correct. Snap, snap. Okay, so I'm gonna put my differential in here, so I'm just gonna apply some grease on here. Actually, might as well. That should be enough. Okay, so now this fits through here. I guess that buttons up into there. I guess depending on whether I pull it or not, it'll fit through here. Snap. So I just need to snap in. Okay, so it snaps in there. How is this shifting? Oh, okay, so there's a little piece. Okay, and the C-clip goes over there. C-clip. Guess this is where you need the needle nose pliers for. Try smaller ones. I got greased. Alright, so we got the snap. Got that. Move the end of the locking cable in and out. Verify that locking fork moves back and forth and pivot. Okay, so it does move, so you can see here it moves. Right. You can see that. Okay, so we got the two bearings. Put some grease on there. Locking fork. This cable that's snapped in there. Got the C-clip at the end. And then we double check, make sure that works. Okay, then we need the cover for the differential, which is a gray one, sitting here. No. Oh, okay. I was looking where the screws go on this side, but they're actually on the other side. Okay, so here we have long screws, which are these guys here. Yep. 2.5 by 16 millimeter. Or are these the shorter ones? No, I guess they have to be the longer ones. Seems like these ones might be too long. Too long? No, I guess these are it. 16 millimeters. Yeah, these differentials are, I don't know, they just seem small to me, like I say, because I used to work on my Savage, HPI Savage 25 and Flux, and the differentials in there are a lot bigger. So, okay. This turns, no problemo. Okay, so I got this in here now. I need to put R and L on here. R, which is these guys here. There's an R and L on here somewhere. Does it show? There's no R and L on here. Oh, on the inside here? Okay, this is R. And this is L. Okay, so R goes on this way. And L goes on this way. Okay. And there's 3 screws that lock these guys in here. Screw those pieces in. Fancy schmancy? Yeah. These differentials are small, man. Like, considering what I had on my Savage, they're tiny. It's fun to build, though. Figuring all this stuff out. So I already got my transmission built. My other differential built. Now I'm just building the axle, rear axle actually. So I just put those screws in there. All three of those you can see there. Come on, camera. That's one thing about using webcam, it doesn't focus as fast as a regular camera. Might have to adjust that for the future streams. Like an actual handy cam or something. Two more of these guys. Let's put this one in first. Oh. And it fell down the hole. Screw that together. And we got one more, which is right there. Oh, come on. Get into the place you need to go. Okay. That's done, and I believe I got the right ones. Left and right. Okay, so we got right on here, left on here, so we got the right ones. Here's the cable, and we're good. Okay, so let's put this over here. Now we're building something new here, the portals. Okay, and there's no left and right on here. They're both the same. So got a little bearing on this side. And the bigger one on here. Just make sure you push your bearings all the way down so they're in. Just use the wrench there, push that in there. And on this one there's a big bearing on here. Okay, so we got those built. And then we have a gear piece like this. Again, it's got a pin, which is right here. Now this goes through, or which way this goes? From the inside, okay. this way, and then this goes into this piece, which is the middle of this, I believe. Okay, so I'm just going to duplicate that in the other one. That way we're at the same stage, oops, on both parts. Okay, that's done, pins through. Apply a drop of grease, and then we have these guys here which fit through, I guess, this part? No. How does that work? That goes there. Oh, there's a bearing on here. Okay, and this goes through here. Okay, that makes sense. And now that goes on there. Gets put together. Oops. Don't get stuck there. Okay. So that just goes there like that. Okay. Oops. Oops, 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 too fast. A little bit too fast in there. And this shaft over here, and then this goes through this part. There you go. And that turns, right? Yeah. So I did the same mistake on this one. So when you're doing this shaft, make sure you put it through the bearing first. So the bearing goes on top, and then this gets pushed through here. Okay. That way this is all good to go. Okay, so now we need to apply a little bit of grease and put these together. So apply a drop of grease. Where's my grease? It's like a little mini transmission. Okay, wow, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 screws, and these would be the longer ones, I guess. I guess it'd be on the next step. Okay, so we got the bearings here. We got this. This is put into here. That's that part there. The next part on here is to put the screws in there, which we're already on that step. See, for this sort of thing where you got so many screws, this would be good use of a power screwdriver. Lucky enough, these are actually pretty easy to do. I think it's pretty fun building this kit, a lot of little pieces, but it's enjoyable to learn how every little piece fits together and how it all kind of goes. You understand it better, and then you know how it all fits together. Oh, dropped one of my screws. Oh, okay. I like it when you're building different components and then you start putting them together and it's just like now it becomes bigger and bigger and something else. That's pretty cool. Build individual components and then just slowly put them together. And then you got like a bigger piece. Build in little parts. Okay, there's one. Turns. Good to go. Okay, so now I got this guy. Gotta apply a bit of grease on here. Okay, let's button this one together. Screw it all together and make it work. Oh. Drop in my screws. Yeah, for something like this where you got so many screws on here, it would be good to have a power screwdriver. I think possibly before I get the next kit, I will definitely get a power screwdriver, at least for some of the components. Like I say, for the most part, I'm using the 2.5 millimeter wrench, so or screwdriver in this case, but bit, I guess. So I think even if I just got a 2.5, just for those parts, I think that would definitely make it a little bit easier to build it. Let's see here. Yep. Turns good. Okay, so next piece. Okay, these are put together. So, okay, so we have right axle drive shaft is long, left one is short. We have two drive axles here, and this would be like this. Okay, so the long one goes on this side, because it would fit like this. And then that, I guess, goes into here. To somehow fit it into there. Okay. And then this gets attached, I guess, through two screws going across. Again, 2.5. So it looks like the 2.5 wrenches is the main one used for this kit. Most used. Okay. And then the shorty one goes on this side. And those, I guess, doesn't really matter which side they are. Come on, get in there. The bottom screw doesn't want to get into its place. Okay, there you go. So it's good to get both or all the screws that you can started in some of the places before you tighten everything up, because some of the screws might not be aligned properly just by maybe 1 or 2 millimeters, and then it doesn't fit properly. So there you go. Okay, that looks good. So those are tightened up. Okay. And we got some pieces here that fit on top of here. I guess this would be, there's no left to right. B, A. Note direction. A, B. Okay, so this one fits on here. So there's a, on this block here, there's an A, or there's a B, and this is an A. There's a little indent on one side, which fits basically with the differential. So make sure when you're putting it on, watch out for that part. These are the smaller screws. Lots of screwdriver work on here. Okay, now this one. Oh, see, you have to make sure it's the right way. I'll just bend this back because it's kind of flipping in my face. So, that's where you put the screw in here. And there's another one that fits basically, there's 2 screws here. Make sure you get both of them in there and properly align there. So, I think this might be complete rear assembly. Wow. So we got the first diff or axle assembly, I guess you could say, completed after I just put this together. Okay, so I got this done, and then we have these axles here. So these fit on here. I guess one side has a hole in it, the other one side has a nut in it. That fits on here. No threads. Okay, so the threads go in here. Now I just still have some screws left over here. I have to see. Did I miss something somewhere? It's okay, so this is going to be the 1.5 millimeter. Okay. I think I might have missed something somewhere, but let's just put this together and see. I've got 4 screws left over. Okay, so I got 4 screws left over, so where did I miss them? Got 2 here, 2 here. All of those are all in. What did I miss? I got the 4 differential screws. I don't remember any other screws here. That's the transmission. Differential bag was just these, and those are cap screws. Okay. Then we started this. We got a bearing grease. Put that into there. That. It's not snapped in there, so there's no screws on this side. Then we have 4 screws here, which fit back here, which we have. So 2, 4. That fits in there. We had 3 on each side here, so we got those ones because that was on the inside. A couple bearings and the gears. And then we had 6 here. Oh, there's 2 on the back side here. Ah, okay, there you go. Okay, so we have 2. Sorry guys, missed a couple screws on these sides here. See, you always got to double check your build. There's 2 in the back here. That's why having, like I say, the little box, have all your parts, so you know if you have anything left over. So that's good. Okay, and then 2 back here. 2 here and 2 here. And once you add all these parts into these axles, then they do get heavier, that's for sure. You can definitely feel it. Weight starts adding on. Okay, there you go. You can see me turning right here, which is where the drive shaft comes in. You can see the axle here turning. It's like, there you go. See the blue on the axle here. Turning. Done. Okay, I think we're done. Out all the parts, so that's for that one. So that's the axle there. It's pretty solidly built. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's got some weight to it. I like this. This looks good. Nice plastic parts. Wouldn't mind if these were actually silver. I guess you can get silver ones, which are, I believe the Bronco ones. It's kind of cool. Scale looking. Okay, well, let's put that one down. Transmitter's off, right? Okay. Alright, so that one's built. Straight view. Everything is as is. Alright, now we go into the next one. So, transmission, front transmission. bearings in there. This one's a little bit different because it's got the turning axles. Front wheel drive, you got all the steering, so it's a little, I guess, a little bit more complicated maybe. It's a little bit different. There's all the parts here. Now remember, in this bag here you have the shift linkage, but there's also a little C-clip right here, if you guys can see, a little C-clip. So just FYI, I'm just gonna move these, put this over there, move these plastics out here, because I don't need that box for now. Transmission all laid out. Okay, I'm going to take about a 3-minute break, and then I will be back. Okay, so stay tuned. I'll be back in about 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, and we will be back. Alright, so we are back. So now we're doing the front differential. So he's going to line up the parts. Again, we have 2 bearings. Smaller one fits into here. That's not the right one. Is it? This one. That's the front one. And the inside one is a bigger one, which is this one, I believe. Yep. That's that one. And then we have the shaft here goes in. Maybe this time I will grease this one up on the way in. And we'll just drop it down. Just grab it. There you go. Pull it through. And it's there. Drop in the differential. Oh, I got grease on my finger again. Forgot I greased it. Okay, so we're just going to add a little bit of grease on here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do something first. I'm going to put the shift fork in first, because last time I got all greased up. Again, with this bag, watch out, there's a little C-clip in here. So just be aware of it. It's kind of funny because I figured that they would have put it into the other bag, but it's kind of funny. You would lose it in the other bag. I bet you some people building this kit have lost it. They threw the bag away or whatever, and then they're like, hey, I can't find it. Shift linkage, shift linkage. Where is my shift linkage? Oh, here. Okay. Okay, so differential goes this way. Oops, I guess like this. And then this just pops in through here. So this piece snaps in there. Snaps in and then it moves back and forth, and you know it's working. Okay, and then there's a C-clip on here, so let's put that C-clip in here, which is on here. Sometimes these can be tricky to put on. Come on, work with me. Okay. C-clip. Move this back and forth. So you're going to move the cable here on this side, and then this should move back and forth. Let me just focus, refocus. Come on, camera. Come on. Zoom in. Focus, focus. Here, maybe I'll go like this. Anyways, so it just goes like that. So as I'm moving this cable here, you can see that's the diff lock mechanism. I think that's it for this part. Okay, so we got that, snap ring, C-clip we got done, and now the case. Okay, so before we do this closing of the case, excuse me, we need to put some grease on here. Just turn this. Okay. good enough. Okay, and then there's a transfer case here. Differential case, I guess. That just fits on there. Locks it up. Right? Okay, now I gotta put the 4 screws in here. 2x16. 2x16, so that's the longer ones. So once you build the first one, then you know which screws go where, and it's a lot faster. You're not guessing. Good thing is for this particular truck, the instruction, a lot of the screws are, if there's 4 or 5 of them, they're all the same, so it's easy to figure out how to put those together. Make sure you got the right ones versus the wrong ones. You gotta work your wrist on here, make sure you tighten it up. Yep, still turn. No binding. Make sure once you put things together, you screw it together, make sure there's no bindage here. Right. Okay, now we have these end pieces, which are, I guess, for steering knuckles kind of thing. Caster blocks, that's what they're called. Do these have an L and R? Yes, they do. Where is that? Left. And this is right. So in this case, this would be like this. Left goes on this side. And then the right goes on this side. Okay, so left again, right? Cable's on top, and that would be L, and this would be R. Yep. Okay, so let's just screw these together like this. Did the same thing as last time, fell right into the hole. Let's screw this together. So building trucks like this, I don't know, I find it really fun. Get to learn all the pieces, know how things are built, know all the ins and outs of all the parts. And plus you get an instruction booklet. So if you do need to take it apart for maintenance or for upgrading, fixing, you have the knowledge and the instruction booklet to do so. here, and then just one more. Where's the other screw in here? I see you hiding. Okay, so that's done. Just like that, left, right. So that's left, that's right. Okay, now we're doing the portals again. Like this. Let's have a bearing in here. Okay, I might as well do the same thing on the other side, then we're at the same step. Like this, and then these guys here have the bigger bearing. Some kind of junk on my bearing here. There you go. Done, and then the smaller ones go in the corner here. Make sure you got both the bearings pushed into there. Come on, camera. So make sure you got both of them pushed in there. Come on. Okay. Got those done, and now is long and short shaft. Okay, so build two of them. Front shaft. Get a little pin. A pin that fits through here. And then we have this. It fits through here. And then there's a little pin that fits through here. Oh, there you go. A little differential thing. Sorry, drive shaft. Okay, and then there's a bearing that goes around here to keep the pin from falling out. Oh, that's pretty smart. So now this will be able to turn on here. Okay, so let's just put that one there. We'll do the other one. So again, there's a little metal pin that fits into here. I align the pin so the hole fits through there. And then we have this guy. Whoops. Drop that piece. Okay, so this fits through here. Aligns it through this guy. Poke the pin through there. Ah. Okay. Push the bearing through. Nice. And that locks it, so technically that pin won't fall out. And then these are good to turn. Nice. Okay, so these guys now get pushed through here, I guess? Is that what it is on this side? Yes. Okay, so those will get pushed into here. Left and right. Okay, so short drive shaft installs into the left one, and this one is the left one. Sure, that will be the So this one is the right one. Right one is a long shaft, which I have the long shaft. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, and then this one will fit on this one. So this is the left one, a left one, short shaft. So that's a short shaft, that's a long shaft. Turns. Okay, now on here, I need these little shafts here with pins. Oops. And the pins are at the end. And then this gear goes through here. Fits in there. Okay, now this fits into this part. I guess I can, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I can put this through here. Might be even better. Now you can put the grease on it. There you go. So I can see how this turns. So you can see that working there. And turn the drive axle and turns to gear. Check it out how that works there. Oh, look at that. Perfect focus. Awesome. Whoops. So there you go. That's how that works. Come on, camera. But anyhow, that's how that is. Turning it. You can see how that works there. Boom, done. Okay. So now I could put this case on it. Now before I do that, I gotta put some grease on here. Right? And then lock it up with the screws. Apply a drop of grease. Just turn this. Just gonna use, let's see here, maybe the little one. It's gonna move this grease from here onto the actual gears, be better. Okay. Then we need the cover for the case. This goes through. Come on. Got the right bearing. There you go. That would fit through there, just like that. Right, again, test it out, make sure it doesn't bind before you screw it together. In this case, you can see if I turn it, it does turn on there. And now I could screw it together. So I'm just going to apply these two screws here first. And then I could do the other ones. I'm just going to wipe my hands a little bit. A little greasy. And then I need my 2.5, which is this guy. Okay, so that's screwed together. Now I can apply the other side. So yeah, for this part here, you definitely almost need a power screwdriver. Something to take note for the next build. These portals have a lot of screws. Looks cool though. Looks tough. Two more screws on this. Maybe that's just the first one, then I gotta build one more. Definitely works out your hands when you're using a screwdriver like this. All these little screws to put together. Okay, so those are done. No bindage. I guess I gotta do this one. Again, so I have a shaft. Get this pin on here. Got the gear. Okay, this fits on here. Right. What I'm gonna do on this one is I'm actually going to pop out this bearing. Oh, actually it might fit actually, see. Okay, so let's put the grease on here. Oh, ah! That did not go as planned. This is actually supposed to go on the other side. There you go. Just applied a little bit more grease on there. There you go. That's better. Okay, now close it up. Enough grease on there, I think it should be fine. Yep. Okay, close up. Let's get the two screws up here. Oops. So it's good to have an area with lots of room because you're not going to be hitting things, you know, things are not in the way. Next is pretty clear. I do like the towel on table, it adds a bit of a padding too, so it's good. Okay, now let's get the back ones. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we're putting together the front portals. And then we can attach them to the actual axles. Lots of little screws here to put together, that's for sure. Hey, thanks, Jody. It's a birthday build. Alright, so we got these put together, all the screws in there. Let's turn this so, again, it works very easily. Same thing with this one. Okay, they work very well. So that should be it for these. Right, so we got those together, those, put the grease in, so we got that, those are assembled. Let's go to the next page. Oh, there is one thing here. There's little screws here. Oh, yep, okay, a little bit too fast. So there's little 3 screws here where you apply the grease to get in there, which I already applied those, or put the grease in there, but there's little 3 screws that I guess hold this bearing from falling out. And this is using the 1.5 millimeter screws. I was wondering what the little ones were for. We figured it out. So we got about 40 more minutes left for the build for today. And we're going to head out to the hobby shop because we need to get some more parts for this project and a couple other ones. Yay. Okay. Tighten it up. Tighten that up. Tighten that up. And then here is the other ones. It'd be easier if I put it on the screwdriver. There you go, and guide it into the place where it's supposed to go. That makes sense on this bearing part why it doesn't come out, because it's held in by 3 screws. So it's still smooth, and this is still smooth. Alright, so that part is done. 3 screws, drive shaft left and right, that in. Those are assembled. Alright, now we're going to put these together. So we take our axle. So on this side we have the long one, me. That will fit, I guess, like this. Just have to turn it, get into the proper place. Okay. So here, there's a little piece here, a little bushing. Kingpin bushing, see? And that will fit these screws here. Oh. Come on. Trying to align this properly. Again, 2.5. I think it's better if you do the bottom probably first. On the next one, do the bottom first. Oh, okay, there's a kingpin on the bottom side as well. Yeah. So I think that's correct. Yeah, that should be correct. Yeah, because the steering is on the front side. Okay, so now I could do this part, I guess. Okay, so there's a kingpin bushing on both sides. And then the screw, cap screw goes in here. Alright, so 2 more. Okay, so there's my axle there, and that turns. Yep. Okay, so this one will go on this side. Popped in there. Turn it. So you gotta turn your portals, make sure they pop into the right place on here. Or I guess it could turn this one as well. There you go. So this one I'm going to try this way. From the top. Bushing. Cap screw. Okay, and then do the bottom side. Another kingpin. And my cap screw. Come on. Work with me, Johnny, work with me. Okay, good. Those will be able to turn. Okay, then we have these little caps. So this side has the bigger one, and it goes up, and that would be the square screws, or the what are these 2.5 by 10. Screw those together as well. You know what? I don't want to kill this book, so I'm going to do one thing. I'm just going to move this a bit further up, like this. There you go. I can actually organize it because I think it's also making the image a little bit too white. Here. Okay, and then this one goes on this side. That way? No, the other way. Oh, it's just a tight fit. Okay. So on the other side, that side there, there's, put that closer to that, fits over here. And again, you have 2 screws here. Alright. And then we have our hexes we can put on. Again, these are 1.5. So far I've used the, oh, come on, hex. 1.5 and 2.5. I don't think, or sorry, 1.5 and, yeah, 2.5, I believe. I haven't used the 2 Allen wrench yet, as far as I remember. So these are the hexes. We have 2 long screws left over. And those are for the linkage. Okay, so those are these 2 screws they have left over here. Why is one shorter than the other? Okay, I missed something somewhere. Why do we have one longer, one shorter one here? Why is one longer, one shorter? It's a cap screw. Three by 15, which would be that one. Well, that's strange. There's a cap screw, and I don't see differentials going through here. I don't remember having a long screw like that in the first place. Button head screw. That's what they call it. So nothing, these are all short. No screws there, no screws here. No screws here. That's the long ones. There's, okay, short one. That's a short one, that's a long one, and these are the long ones that fit onto here. That's fine, so these are square. This fits these guys, they're all the same, times 4. And then these are here. E-clip. Okay, these are all the same. These are short screws, just bearings. Then we have that. Okay, there's no long screw in here. The button head one. 4 of those, which is basically top and bottom, top and bottom. And kingpin, so that's fine. That one. And then we have 3 times 15 BCS. Button cap screw, I guess. Drag link. Yeah, uh oh. So you can see I went through the whole instruction booklet and I got 2 screws here. One is longer than the other. But it shows they should be the same. Let me just look at the exploded view on the internet. Or is there one here? Is there an exploded view on the back here? No. 1 second here. Let me just double check. Let's see here. Kit. Actually, that would be the front assembly. Exploded view, front assembly view. Three by 23. Oh, okay, yeah. See, they didn't show that in here. Makes sense because that's to your steering servo. See, they don't mention that in the link here. Okay, so in this particular image here, it makes sense because there's a steering linkage there. 1 second here. Okay, so in this particular image here, you have your front assembly here, right? And then you have, I don't have the steering linkage yet. Where's the linkages here? Okay, so this must be the steering one. Be my guess because it's. Is this the one? No, that's a different one. No, not that one. 1, 2, 3. Not that one. Drag link. Okay, so must be this one. This must be the drag link. Yep. And I wonder if that's the other piece of it. Let me just double check. Got the 2 screws here. Steering link. Yeah, so steering link. Is it this one? Or is it that one? This one's also 1, 3. I was thinking that these 2 are the ones for steering. So this one is the steering link. It's like this and it's like that. Steering link, which means the longer screw goes from the top and then goes through the linkage here, which goes through here. Okay, I think that will do it. So you need to be a little bit forward looking, because they don't mention about the longer screw here. Okay, and then this one locks into here, which is the shorter one. Okay, so then technically this would be our steering linkage. moving the wheels left and right. So if I go back a little bit, that would be this part here. As shown, now they don't say to attach this part, but I already did. Since I have the screw, might as well. Okay, these are on there. Boom, done. So these are attached. And that's movable, everything works. Just to make sure that this turns. Those shafts move. They're both moving backwards right now. If I shift this, technically one would be able to turn. Yeah. Okay, so now it's unlocked because I'm holding the other side. And this side is turning here. If I push this in, I believe. Or do I have to pull it out? Now differential's working. Not sure which. There you go. Now it's locked. I cannot turn it without both wheels turning. So okay, that works. So that's done. So these are both the differentials. So you got the back one and you got the front one. Differential, sorry, the axles with the portals on the outside. So these are kind of cool. So you can see the big difference on these as far as the clearance, right? If you look at that. Here, let me just move this out of the way. So you can see as far as the actual portals on here. You can see how much extra ground clearance you have because this is smaller and this is raised, eh? That's going to be awesome. A lot more ground clearance just because look at all this extra room you have here. Very nice, very nice. And this is the rear one. So what do we got left here? Chassis assembly. Electronics. Shocks. Mounting all that on here. Body posts. That's it. Got 20 more pages. Are we about halfway done here? Or what page did we started on? Page 4. So about 20. Yeah, I think we're about halfway. There you go. Halfway through the book. Halfway through the book. So I think that should be it. All right. I think for today I'm going to end it here. Like I said, because I do have to go to the hobby shop and pick up some additional parts. But I will stream the second part of this build. And I'll put it on my Twitter just to let you guys know when that's going to be done. I'll see if I have time. I'll do it either tomorrow, which will be Sunday, or I will be back next Saturday, probably around the same time, around noon, maybe a little bit earlier. I'll see. And then we'll finish off the chassis, and then I'll probably maybe do another streaming session as far as putting together the actual body for this truck. So we'll go from there. So there you go, guys. Here, let me just bring this in a little bit closer. You can see these differentials, the transmission, how it's all nicely put together, all the pieces. Looks very nice. I like it. Yeah, I'll just clean that up a little bit. There you go. So there you go, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you on the second part of this build. Alright, see you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video once it becomes available on YouTube. And we'll see you guys later. Have a good weekend. Bye.